Radio Jacob.
Hello and welcome again to Rambling with Barbara. You're listening to Radio Jacob, broadcasting on www.radiojacom.com and on YouTube. And I have two, I was going to say old friends, but
we're really old.
It's a long time since the Millets have been sitting next
Friends
to
of
me.
long-standing.
Friends of long-standing, yes, right. Lesley and Ronnie Millett. Hi.
Hi there, how are you?
Nice to see you back again.
You look well today.
Thank you very much.
Well, talking about the elderly, which you have just said to us.
Oh, I love your wife.
I think
Ron, yes.
I can see your bit of the cutting, my cutting.
Leslie's here again. She's getting in there, Ron.
Yeah. Dementia.
We're going to talk serious first. And Ron, you said you'd been researching this. Talking about dementia, it is the in word at the moment, isn't it?
Well, it's not just the in word. It will soon become the most common form of early demise, let's put it that way. And it's not just the demise, it's the desperate effect it has on the people who suffer and all those around them. I'll give you some statistics later, but should we talk about what the papers say?
Yeah, what the papers say.
Well, the papers are saying that dementia is now the cause of 1 in 8 deaths.
And 1 in 3 dementia victims are forced to sell their homes to pay for their care.
Yes.
Which is...
dire.
It is absolutely dire.
And to be fair, we do. I think we all, it touches a lot of us. Interestingly, in my paper today, there is a picture of Barbara Windsor, because it is her 82nd birthday. Sorry, it was her 82nd birthday yesterday. And the actress who's been diagnosed 5 years ago with Alzheimer's has written a letter to Boris Johnson asking him to fix the social care system. Now, one wonders whether she can actually write a letter.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's quite an interesting thing because it's obviously touching everything that we know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, do we feel that there is anything that the government can do to try and support this?
Well, the some of the headlines before we had the election for the Conservative leader and ultimately the Prime Minister, one of Boris's headlines was that if he becomes... No, I'll rephrase that. He said when he becomes Prime Minister, he vows to end the scandal. Now then. Ron.
Well, that's a waste of time, actually.
Okay.
The way to end the situation is do something about it yourself. And the things you should do are lay off red meat, lay off rich foods, gentle and consistent exercise like a walk of about a mile each day, vac around the house once a week, play bridge, which has been proven, unlike other things like Sudoku, which has been proven to delay the onset of dementia for a significant amount of time. Meet other people, stay friendly with other people. In your 80s and 90s, make new friends. Think positive, think active, be active, and you will be.
And yet, I know people who have done all these things or various sections of these things and have succumbed to
Well, that's right.
Or
there are
some
many
form of dementia.
Well, that's right. There are many forms of dementia.
Yeah.
We all know about Alzheimer's, but it can be vascular, it can be environmental, it can be all sorts of things. They're still researching it.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very, very serious problem.
It's a very serious problem, but the problem that we're going to talk about, or are going to talk about for a little while, is not just the onset of this horrendous disease, but the cost of this disease to the country and also to the individual.
Well, it's back down to the the £23,250 that you are allowed to have or keep before, when you're above that, your money has to pay the full cost. The other thing is that it's affecting mainly middle-class families because they're the ones that will have their own home, a lot of them.
Sorry, what's affecting having to sell the home?
The cost.
Yeah, because in a lot of instances they will have more than 23,250 when the value of their home is taken into consideration.
Right, that's with all due respect, that's only money. The real cost is the immense burden on family and friends. And
family, friends and the health service. Well, it is
the
a big
health
thing.
service won't be able to meet it.
No, I don't think they can, and I don't think the caring services can support it either. Do you think, Barbara, that it's because of the fact that we've eradicated most other things? Do you know what I mean? I mean, heart disease was the leader, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, that is still the leading thing with men.
Things like smallpox, measles, and that sort of thing are sort of pushed into the background.
I think that's right, but I think lifestyles have done it as well. More in front of the television, more additives in the environment. For instance, it was in the papers a few days ago, the birth rate has dropped for the first time in Britain since records began, and they think it's because of a drop in ability to conceive. I mean, to put it quite brutal, lots of people take the pill, it's excreted into sewage and waterways, gets back into the environment.
Yeah.
People get
well, I think women are more likely. No, that's wrong.
To wait longer to have children.
Yes, that's the first thing. But I think the other thing is that women, they're saying, are the ones...
I'm sorry, can I contradict you there?
What?
That's the case with some middle-class women. It's not with certain ethnic groups and many working-class people.
No,
but it is the leading cause of death in women more than men, and I think that's because women live longer.
Yes, the Times publishes a graph showing that women are slightly more susceptible to it. Can I give you some statistics? Because I looked at the research a few years ago.
Well, seeing you've gone into this, let's not put your research in. Let's make use of it.
Yes, okay. So they looked at prediction. It was done in 2003. They looked at predictions for the 50 years from 2000 to 2050, and it's in 2000 there were 7 million Alzheimer's sufferers in Europe, throughout Europe. They reckon by 2050 that will rise to 16.2 million. That's more than a doubling.
Yeah.
Okay. That's bad in itself. The working population will fall over the same period, so that in 2000 there was a ratio of one demented person to 69 people.
1 in 69.
1 in 69.
Right.
In 2050, that will decrease to 1 in 21. So you will have 60% less people able to care for demented people.
Because the
carers come from the 70. Now, then in the future they'll come from the 21.
Yes.
That's an immense social and personal strain.
Yeah.
It's desperate. It really, really,
I
really
agree.
is desperate.
Anyway.
Yes, unfortunately, it's the future generations as well who are, paying for it as well, in social terms as well as economical terms.
Get off that settee watching television.
Correct.
Get out there.
Correct.
Clean the house.
Yes, and
talk to people.
Young mums are putting their young babies in front of a screen rather than interact with them.
They can all swipe.
Well,
they can all swipe.
Well, you don't want to go over the top. It's a relevant activity, but it shouldn't be the sole activity.
No, but sometimes it's nanny use, isn't it?
although they found that some kids who are on iPads and stuff are more advanced educationally.
Yeah, I suppose that that makes their brains work more, which helps with what you said to begin with having all these activities, for instance, bridge and crosswords, etc., etc., etc. What did you say about Sudoku? I've never been a fan of that.
No, I love it, but they've done tests. It has no effect whatsoever on
But why?
brain power.
Because isn't that using the brain in the same way as
the thing
solitary?
It's solitary.
It's solitary.
The thing about bridge is the social interaction that goes with it.
I'm with you. Right, I'm with you now. Yeah.
Funnily enough, Lesley and I watched a program on television last night, and it was about a Buddhist temple. What was it? Solol or Sol?
Yeah.
And they both study and meditate in China, but they also practice kung fu.
Oh right,
to extreme levels. And apparently, originally, the monks established it because they were concerned that sitting, studying, and doing nothing else would not be good for them. So they had to have some vigorous exercise to balance it.
Oh, right.
How clever the Chinese are.
Oh, absolutely. And on that note, we've had quite a long discussion on one subject. We're going to have a little break for some music. And I think you have something you wanted to say.
Oh, I do.
We do, and it's in the holiday season.
Hang on, I need to find the right paper now.
So, right, and it was actually about cruising, wasn't it?
It was. And cruise ships have been told by the Italian government to give Venice a wide berth. Now, those of you who've been on a cruise from Venice, you would actually come down in front of the Grand Canal, in front of St. Mark's Square, looking up to the bridges and etc. Now they are not allowed to do it. And they've got to berth 3 miles away near the Italian mainland, which is a clever thing to do because obviously it's the wear and tear on the buildings. But it's a shame.
Woken up very early in the morning with a cup of hot chocolate.
Wonderful.
To watch.
And then just to go on from that, that you actually now, when you're in Rome, you can't go down the Spanish Steps anymore either. So all those things, if we've all done them, how lucky we are.
Yes.
But when you used to leave Venice, they used to play a song on the cruise ships called Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I'd like to play that if we can. This one is by Mago de Oz.
And wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles make like lemon drops, away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Ooh, so see apart. There's a love that I have once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, the skies are blue. And the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
Rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Mago, oh, you enjoyed that?
Oh, I thought it was lovely.
That was your suggestion.
That's my thing.
That's your thing for today, right?
Can I go to that lovely girl, Alana Cutland, who threw herself out of an aeroplane?
If you insist.
I do, because I think that we were talking to pharmacists as we were walking the other day, and this girl, they think, had an adverse reaction to antimalarial tablets.
Yeah.
And this particular one, which I'm sure it is this, Lariam, is renowned. And I can't understand why it's not banned.
Yeah.
It's been proven that it can lead to very quickly onset depression.
Yes.
And they've actually found this girl's body now.
Yes, they
which
have.
the family are.
Well, we are aware.
Yes, we are.
We are aware personally of a suicide probably resulting from it.
Yeah. Well,
And
so
this is
what
a
is
suicide.
NICE doing is the question.
What are they doing?
This supervisory body on the efficacy
it's an
of drugs.
unfortunate acronym, isn't it? Nice.
Because it isn't.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. I've now.
So it's a nicety, isn't it? It needs dealing with.
An unnicety. Okay. I've also come to something of an unnicety. You two are very family oriented.
Oh, we've got no choice.
Right. No, but you have, and I've come across, we all know the Kennedy family. Now, I've come across you like statistics, don't you? There's just now been the 15th unnatural demise, and it's called The Kennedy Curse Strikes Again. A young member of their family who is 22 years old has died also from struggles with depression as well. So what drugs she might have been on, Ron, who knows? But there have been, she's the 15th, as I say, because there have been so many unnatural tragedies in that family. It just
Didn't
doesn't.
one of them lose their leg in a?
Well,
accident?
there's been died in more than one have died in airplane crashes. Institutionalised over a failed lobotomy.
That was his sister.
Yeah, that was his sister. 2 assassinations, John and Robert. Another son who died from an overdose, and a car accident, a skiing accident. The brother who drove off the bridge and somebody else. Chappaquiddick, well known for that.
Well, that was the girlfriend, wasn't
Somebody had,
died,
it wasn't, maybe a friend, but I don't know about a girlfriend. Right leg had to be amputated, yes.
I think that was a water skiing.
Yeah, and a suicide. Now, would you like to belong? No, like isn't the right word. That family, I don't know.
Well, I think it actually says something quite dramatic in the fact that it doesn't matter how much money you've got.
Exactly.
Makes no difference.
No.
Yes.
And also, they're in the public eye.
That's the point.
That's
Yeah.
the issue.
You can never be
true.
a private person.
You can't be a private person.
No.
You can't just go skiing or it's a bit like they are a little bit like our royalty.
Well, there is an English family, British family, that's like that. The Guinness family, that was also cursed, has also been cursed with lots of misfortune and deaths.
But yeah,
and the answer is
there isn't one.
But you've also got genius and despair side by side. I mean, JFK wasn't just a brilliant president. Orator. He holds the Guinness Book of Records for uttering the most words per minute.
Oh, really?
In a speech, yes. It's 230 odd. It is the fastest speaker.
Really?
His father was an effective, nasty megalomaniac.
Yes, absolutely,
very successful businessman.
Yes.
And the sons went the other way.
Yes, but they always said he was the one who said that his son or whoever is going to be president of America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, but then let's be honest. There is an atmosphere of violence in the United States. There's a lot of violence. A lot happens.
Look at this picture of shame I'm looking at in America.
Yes, I've come.
Black suspect that's led on a rope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shocking act of slavery.
A rope around his neck.
Going back to the 50s, isn't it?
1850s. Led by a policeman who was on horseback, and he's...
Two policemen.
Yeah.
Two policemen. I don't think it was round his neck, Ronnie. It was where his hands
No,
were
it's round his neck.
It's where his hands were strapped. Yes, at the back. At the back.
And we're forgetting the two shootings within 24 hours of each other.
Yes. Oh, do you know that the one by the Walmart one was hungry?
He was hungry?
Yes, that's what's happened. Apparently he was hungry and he saw a lot of mixed race and issues coming out of Walmart.
Oh, right.
And went mad.
Okay.
No answer to that one, is there?
There's no answer to anything when you come to think about it. Even if we had answers, we wouldn't have this programme because...
Oh, we have answers.
We have answers.
We have answers, but nobody listens.
Ah, right. Okay.
Well, first of all, take the guns away. That might be a start.
Oh, now that wouldn't go down well if you were on the other side of the pond.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have the answers, but they won't listen.
But they said
thanks to the National Rifle Association.
Exactly, but they also, if you...
Yeah, but the National Rifle Association supports the presidential elections,
yes, but
etc.
President Trump says it's got nothing to do with the gun issue.
Has he actually said that? But
yes.
He has said we need to do something about that.
Yesterday.
No, it has nothing to do with the gun issue at all. It's to do with a mental issue.
Well, in a way, he's right.
Yes, but, put the two together.
Yes. I mean, the intense shooting clubs they have there, it's a madness. But it's a vast country as well. You can live, and you can live in the cities, yes, but the other extreme, you can live somewhere and there's not another person for half a mile.
No.
So it's...
Yeah.
Social agoraphobia, maybe.
So what happens if you eyeball a seagull?
You've had your chips.
You've had your chips.
You've had your chips.
He's had his chips.
He's had his chips. Apparently. I mean, it looks quite amusing when we look.
Yes, we do like photographs on radio.
Yes, we do. But how many times have you been shooing away the seagulls when if you're at the seaside? They like your ice creams, they like your chips, which I don't really have chips. But apparently, if you look them fair and square in the eye, they will walk away.
Do you know what's more hilarious?
What, somebody's bothered?
No, the research.
Yes.
The research.
Yes.
Yeah. It involved
paid for that.
It involved placing a portion of chips in front of a human experimenter. The chips were sealed in a transparent bag, weighed down so the gull could never gain access to them. 74 gulls were tested, only 27 of which tried to approach the chips. Well, hard stare. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? If you're looking at the gull, he knows you might go for him if you go for his chips.
They're clever, aren't they, these gulls?
Well, of course they are. What did someone describe them to me
The
as?
animal kingdom are cleverer than the human race.
Thieves in tuxedos.
Oh, right, okay.
I just thought I would drop that one in. Right, interesting.
Yes, okay, so you've got something there about Nicholas Parsons. I also have the same one.
You have the same article.
Yes.
Nicholas Parsons, who, by the way, everybody, is 95. Absolutely. He missed just a minute for only the second time in 52 years because he was not particularly well. But, I mean, isn't that amazing? 52 years. But I could give you some statistics.
Please do.
There have been 939 episodes of Just a Minute in which guests must speak for 60 seconds without hesitation, repetition or deviation.
It's a wonderful programme.
It is.
Jimmy Edwards in the beginning was wanted as a host, but he was unavailable.
Yes, so
Reluctantly, Nicholas Parsons took his place.
Yes, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah. The pilot show featured Derek Nimmo, Clement Freud, Wilma Ewart as a neighbour of Parsons, and Beryl Reid.
I remember those.
Yeah. Freud appeared a record 544 times, and he once split a glass of water over Giles Brandreth to distract him. But who do you think was the fastest speaking panellist?
Well, I've got it in front of me.
Go on.
Kenneth Williams, 6.1
Of course.
words a second.
He was wonderful.
What wonderful statistics there.
So
I prefer these to health
Well,
ones.
now,
Can I
it's
just
going
say,
back to
sorry.
our first...
I was just going to say.
Yes.
Yes.
95. He's only missed 2 programmes in 52 years. The man is a genius with talking. It answers the question.
Excuse me, dementia.
Correct.
What's that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
what
all-
I loved his line, Giles Brandreth, and he says, he's a regular guest on Just a Minute.
Yeah.
Started the programme by joking, Nicholas can't be here tonight as he's auditioning for Naked Attraction on
Yes.
Channel 4. How wonderful.
Yeah. Talking about that, and I had this the last programme I did for Rambling, and we were talking about, do you ever watch Gogglebox?
I do.
Occasionally.
It's very
Have you
funny.
been watching the recent one with so-called celebrities, and Giles Brandreth is on that?
Yep.
It's hysterical, and the Naked Attraction was one of the programmes that was
It's fabulous.
on.
Yeah, I know.
He was hysterical.
Talking
that
about
was funny.
hysterical, Barbara,
Yes,
what
this
about
is-
that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just coming back, still on the showbiz time. Spitting Image
Yes.
is apparently coming back.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. I think everybody will applaud. I don't know why it dropped out.
So now the two people, it said here that maybe the puppets will be, one will be Boris Johnson.
And the
which
other
is-
will be
and
Jeremy
We're going to
Corbyn.
ask,
And Jeremy Corbyn.
will the real Boris Johnson please stand up?
Well, there we are. So those
As
two.
an aside,
Yes.
do you remember the programme Round the Horn
Yes.
on radio?
Kenneth Horne.
Kenneth Horne, Round the Horn.
Yeah, I go back a long way, Ron.
Yes. If you, and I think you can hear it on YouTube, if you listen to it now,
Yeah.
it is amazingly risque.
Yes.
So much so, it shows how purulent we've become. Some of it will be banned. Hello, Julian. My name's Sandy. That would never go now.
No.
Never.
Right.
Interestingly,
Well, a quickie now, 'cause
It
we're
is a
having
quickie.
another break.
Yes, we are. We were talking about sort of research, etc.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's an institute for Facebook studies?
Well, I'm sure that, yes,
Yeah.
there has to be.
Facebook friends are better than neighbours. Right, this is apparently because people choose their online friends, whereas neighbours, like relatives, are beyond our
Well, you know,
control.
you can choose
Which
your
really
friends, they're
did
not
make
your
me...
relations.
Yes,
We've always said
yes.
that, yes.
But actually, social media is bad for humanity because they make us less, not more tolerant of opposing views.
Okay, talking about opposing
I don't
views.
think that's quite right, having been involved a lot in Facebook. It takes the self-restraint off being unpleasant.
Yeah, okay. Well, talking about pleasant, unpleasant, today, as we speak, it's Dustin Hoffman's 82nd birthday. Happy birthday to him. And the one of the films we remember for Dustin Hoffman is The Graduate.
We do.
And
When he
one
clunked on in that diving suit, I thought I would absolutely.
We saw him in Hamlet, was it? Or
Right.
Merchant of Venice.
Merchant of Venice we saw
He
him in.
was wonderful.
And he's now doing adverts and sending himself up wonderfully, but this is The Sound of Silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light, I split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. No one did disturb the sound of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell, echoing the wells of silence. The people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls, tenement halls, whispering silence.
Eminent Garfunkel, Sound of Silence from The Graduate, wishing Dustin Hoffman a happy birthday. Now, he's 82. We're going to, he was 2 years old when this couple got married. Can you imagine?
Which
they
couple
are
is
this couple in today's paper.
Joan and Jack Barr
celebrating 80 years of marriage.
Gosh.
It's the UK's longest marriage. They were married in August the 3rd, 1939. They're still together, and they're in a care home, and they've spent every night under the same roof together for the 80 years.
How old is she?
She's 100 and he is 102. But going on from there, the oldest man in the UK has just died, aged 111.
Good Lord.
So his birthday was on the same day, March the 29th, as another gentleman. That was Alfred Smith. But Robert Waiton is now the UK's sole oldest man. The two of them were 111, but now Robert Waiton is now the sole longest living man in the UK. Now, going from older down to younger, what are your thoughts on John Lewis having a back-to-school makeup classes for girls up to the age of 12?
Say again.
No, up to the age of 12 or at the age of 12.
Well, age 12.
Because
yes,
it's the ones going into main school.
What? How do you mean back to school makeup?
Well, when they're back to school at 12, 11 and 12, then they're going on to the next
They're in the next
level.
school.
And they have makeup?
So they...
Well, they do it anyway.
I would think they're doing it. So John Lewis has apparently scrapped these classes because they've been accused of exploiting young girls' insecurities by advertising a back to school makeover workshop for 12-year-olds.
This is cosmetics, you mean?
Yes. A £30 mini masterclass with a professional makeup artist.
I think it's brilliant.
So do I.
Right.
I think
Well, I'm
everybody's
asking for
being
your command.
prurient and old-fashioned and got to get in touch with reality.
And give them the right way of doing things, you think.
As
rather
Leslie said,
than...
they're going to do it
They'll do it
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So at least show them how to do it properly.
Yeah, that's
So they
was my
look classy
point.
and not a tramp.
That's my point, right.
So, right, we write to John Lewis. My next little bit is actually from Sarah Vine's column in the Daily Mail, and she's apparently the columnist of the year, and I actually quite like some of her little snippets, but this one really made me smile. The heading is Strictly Drives Me Crackers, and another season of Strictly Come Dancing, another slew of made-up controversies. Who cares if James Cracknell is being paid more than Charlie Janica, or if no one's heard of half of them anyway? It's all such predictable stage-managed drivel. I can't help thinking there are better things to be spending licence payers' money on than a bunch of sequin-clad celebrities who will only end up snogging each other anyway.
He's quite right.
Yeah.
She's quite right.
And you know who she's married to?
Go on.
Michael Gove.
Michael Gove, she is.
Gove.
She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's actually, I'm just going on for that, I don't mind Strictly, I'll drop in and out of that.
It's good entertainment.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
However, back to Michael Gove with his new position, Ron. We had to do a bit of politics.
That's all right.
He is getting so much
Publicity. Yeah.
I've never even heard of the Duchy of whatever the heck it is.
The Duchy of Lancaster is for policy, administration and
but
implementation.
nobody's ever heard of it before.
Well, it's like all
And all of a
positions.
sudden, he's been given this post, and that's all you see. He was actually at Dover yesterday with checking all the wagons coming in and going out as to how many cold wagons are going to have serious issues because of the problems of Brexit.
But is this to make up
where
for
is
him
this?
losing the...
As an
it is.
ex-politician, let me tell you that success is what you make of the position you're given. There's exceptions like Chancellor of the Exchequer and Prime Minister, but you can make something out of nothing in politics. I mean, my interest originally was in the environment, when nobody would...
Yes.
What are you going on about?
Yeah.
But it's what you make of a situation. And he's I don't necessarily agree with him, but he's a highly intelligent and original thinker.
Yes, indeed. I quite liked him, actually, when he was up for the vote.
He's not very photogenic.
Well, okay, but you've just said it. If it's the thought that counts, Ron.
Yeah.
You'd have to look at.
Well, you're right. As someone else we know once said, "Well, I've got the face for television and the the face for radio and the voice for television."
Yeah. That's why we're all sitting.
Can I
behind
give you one
microphones.
here?
Please do, Ron.
Yes.
You've been quiet for a
I
while.
don't think he has.
Homegrown terrorists are being recruited as a result of lack of social mobility and inclusion, Britain's most senior counter-terrorism officer said. And he thinks policies that go towards social inclusion, more social mobility and more education are much more likely to drive down violence than all the policies and state security apparatus put together.
Which means?
Which means be nice to those with dark skins. Put bluntly.
Or different from yourself.
Different from yourself. Which we should do anyway.
Exactly.
However, in our parents' time, we all remember signs of no Irish, Jews or dogs, and the prejudice there. On the one hand, the Irish people and Jews didn't stand out so much, but on the other hand, they didn't make bombs and attack people.
No, this is true. Very true. But it's going to go on, Ron, isn't it? The next level. What will the next level be? Can you?
Well, I think
work out?
I think we have a secret weapon.
We meaning
society.
Society, okay. Which is.
And I think ethnic minority women will only put up with it for so long, and they will fight back,
right.
and they will demand, they will take equal rights.
You could be right, because a lot more of ethnic minority women are going into professions, or it's coming out. They always have done, but it's now coming out in newspapers, which we're reading now. Some of them are top lawyers, for instance, and they now, will the extreme white have an ethnic minority lawyer? Just plain devil's advocate, will they go for an ethnic minority lawyer to represent?
Every time. Every time. How many times have you seen a right-wing person in court defended by a Jewish lawyer?
Yes. Oh, yes. But then you see, we're coming back to the Jews are cleverer, richer.
No, they're not.
There's all this, and yet those people who these people who employ. Now, the Jewish ethnic minority is not as visible as the black ethnic minority.
Unless you're Lubavitch or Satmar.
Yeah, this is true, but they're employed.
Well, what television programme was I cross about last night?
I don't know if you were right to be cross about that.
What did you watch? Go on,
It was to do with the Wonders of the World. That's what it was called.
Oh, right. Okay. I missed that one.
The guy that Ronnie was talking about earlier, to do with the Buddhists and the fact of it. That was part of it.
Yeah.
There was obviously Siam Reap, which is the marvellous temple in Cambodia, and then it came to the Dome of the Rock.
So it came to Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, and the Dome of the Rock.
Now, the Christian church where Christ was apparently crucified and buried, that got a fleeting cover.
2 minutes.
And the west wall got a fleeting cover.
The wall got about a quarter of a second, whipped on and off, and then it moved on to the dome, and it was looking at
Al-Aqsa Mosque.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque. And I just felt my objection was that it was political, and I don't think it should have been political.
Are you saying they took longer at the dome than?
It was the way they did it. They had an ambulance. It was.
They interviewed it with Ramadan.
With Ramadan, the end of Ramadan, and the celebrations going on there.
Eid.
Yeah, and they then had some ambulance drivers, Palestinian, they said, who were taking people who'd been injured at the mosque.
Well, no, they passed out. They passed out.
Some of them had been hurt, and one of them that had been hurt, they actually showed the picture of the fence that divides off in Israel, and they said that he'd hurt himself scaling the fence to go to the last session at Ramadan.
Well, that's an outright lie.
You see, and he'd broken his leg, but he'd managed to wobble his way to the mosque. And I just felt, that no other area had got this sort of coverage through all the windows that they looked at. And I just think it was not a good thing for the BBC
to have done it. I can't comment not having seen it. But
just watch it and see what you think. I just felt it was not necessary.
The fence, which is actually a wall, is guarded. And nobody can cross it without the permission.
No, part of it is fencing, Ronnie, where they can scale over.
Yeah, but it's watched. It's supervised.
Well, I agree, but that's what. See what I mean? It was not necessary.
Right. Okay.
That was my view.
Yeah, they could have covered Ramadan, and actually without being politically controversial about it.
No. Anyway, that was
your point. Right, we got there in the end.
And a cup of coffee before you go to bed? Let's move on from that one.
Well, mine is tea, but it's still got caffeine in it. Go on.
Well, I've got a medical one on the iPhone.
And it may not stop you getting a good night's sleep.
You know what? Nothing stops me getting a good night's sleep, I have to say.
May I just say you're very lucky? Well. You're very lucky. Because the NHS have said, if you're looking for a better night's sleep, cut down on caffeine, tea, energy drinks, colas.
Well, that's nothing new, is
right,
it?
okay, but this research says not really.
Research again, Ron?
Not really. They've tracked the sleep of 800 people over 6 nights, and the thing that affects them more is alcohol.
Oh,
so there you
yeah,
go.
Well,
not even smoking.
That's the cause of a lot of
Absolutely.
problems is alcohol, isn't
A quick one. They've done research. The prospect of robots coming for our job is a modern day fear. But we'd rather be pushed out of a job by a robot than a young whippersnapper who's taking over from us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, Barbara, are we nearly there?
We're in a couple of minutes or so, yes.
Let's see what else we've got.
I've got something here, just a quickie, that some parents have been going into a toy shop in Reigate in Surrey, letting their children have a look round the toys and everything while they've gone off and done their thing.
What do you mean by their thing? They're shopping?
They've done their thing, shopping or having a cup of tea or whatever their thing is.
They've left them in the shop?
Playing with the toys, yes. And the shopkeeper has urged people to stop abandoning their children in this toy shop while they go shopping. He says his shop is not a child-minding service, and he once called the police because 3 children had been there for 2 hours while their mum had gone to Croydon, 14 miles away. So there we are. They were using him as an unpaid babysitter. Silence. You know that silence is golden.
Fact,
we had before.
You want to check your blood pressure?
Go on.
They're developing a system where you take a selfie with your phone.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happens is they have imaging software which can identify subtle changes in the light reflected from the skin surface and the blood flow.
All right.
And
it's 95% accurate.
And what about the chaos? Can we go 1 minute about the chaos?
Not really.
BAs? Chaos
we know
yesterday?
It's chaotic.
Well, now Ryanair pilots are going to strike as well.
Not a lot I can say about that. The end of the programme. Thanks for you two for coming in again. Hopefully it won't be such a long time before you come back. You've been listening to Rambling with Barbara on Radio Jacob. This programme has been produced today by Noel Sumroy and presented by me, Barbara Cline. Hope you enjoyed all our discussions and will join us again soon.
Jacob.